Well, good evening. Welcome to Thursday evening devotions from around the kitchen tables, part of the ministry of Grover Hill Zion United Methodist Church in Grover Hill. We've been talking about for many weeks now about some of the great hymns of worship in the church and the history or the stories behind the hymns as to why they were written. And the meaning for them as to what we have today, what they can mean for us today. Some of them were hymns that were surrounded by great tragedy. Others were hymns that were full of rejoicing. Well, the hymn we're talking about this evening comes from Psalm 27. It's based on David's psalm. It's called This Alone, and it's sung, perhaps you can hear it, but it's sung by the St. Louis Jesuits along with Tim Mannion. You can look that up. Beautiful song to listen to if you can't make it out here. Well, Psalm 27 is a prayer of trust, and it's a prayer of David's heart's desire, saying that where he would rather be, period, is in the house of the Lord. No place else other than to have his residence or his abode where God is at. He'd rather be with God continually forever. Now this psalm, this prayer, seems to have been written in times of great crisis or distress, as David writes the words. David's enemies were tormenting him at every turn. He was in great danger. Of course, all of his life he lived in danger, being a shepherd boy, fighting bears and wolves and rustlers, and then, of course, fought Goliath and fought many wars, and then he had battles within his own family as well. Wicked people were surrounding him, and they were causing him a lot of anxiety and perhaps even fear, perhaps fear for his life, perhaps the fear of going to war. It seemed like enemies were always trying to conquer David in his time. Of course, false witnesses were everywhere, spewing out their violence, just trying to get people stirred up so that they would be divided and battle against each other, and they tried to turn them against David. And we see the same things today, don't we? That among our news media especially, and other of those big corporate outlets, they're so big that they can do whatever they want to do. They just spew out one lie after another after another. If they don't want you to know something, they just simply don't tell you. Or if it's something that they feel they can't conceal, they distort the truth. They'll tell you a big lie to get you to follow them and to believe them. And their whole intention is to divide us as well, as a people, as a nation. Why they want to divide us, I don't know, but except that these companies aren't run by just Americans alone anymore. They're run internationally anymore, and so at every turn they seem to want to cause division among our nation's people. And so they want us to be afraid. You know, when you make people afraid, you can control them easier, because they know that you being the leader, you have more information than they have, or at least they think you have more information than they have. But David's confidence and his communion with the Lord were and are for us even today antidotes to fear. Antidotes to fear. You know, we put our trust in the Lord. It's not saying we never become afraid of anything or are concerned about things, because we do. You know, some things you can't help but be concerned about. But the Lord has promised to be with us always, no matter what we go through. David turned his heart and mind to the Lord, and he knew that that is where his help came from. And that's where he felt safe, was in the presence of God. God had rescued him and saved him from catastrophe numerous times, from death numerous times. So he knew that in the presence of the Lord, that's where he was safe. No place else would he rather be than in the house of the Lord forever. Not in his throne on the palace, or in the palace. Not in his kingdom among his subjects. Not with his family who some of his own sons tried to steal his possessions and even went to war with him. None of that. But in the house of the Lord, that's where he found hope and peace and comfort and rest. That's where he felt at home. And he writes that God is light and his salvation. You know, whatever's happened to me as well through the week, whether it be good or bad, you know, at the week's end, sometimes you just feel a little tired and things seem to be piling on you, no matter what they are. You know, good things can weight you down as well. And so when I enter the house of the Lord on Sundays, I just feel the pressure starting to rise off my shoulders. And then when we begin worshiping Him as a congregation, as the people of God, wow, that just makes it so much better. So much more restful and peaceful. And when I leave, I feel like there's been a big weight lifted off of me, and I'm renewed and charged up, ready to go out and face the world for another week. And I know that no matter where I go, the Lord has assured me that no matter where I go, that He'll be with me, no matter what I have to go through. Sometimes we don't like the things we have to go through as well. That doesn't mean that we don't have to go through them. It means we have to deal with them, and as we deal with them, it means the Lord is right there with us as we deal with those things. Sandy Patty wrote or sang a song many years ago, said there's strength in the Lord, there's power in the name of the Lord, there's hope in the name of the Lord. That's true, isn't it? That's what David is saying here in the 27th Psalm as he writes his prayer as well. And so in closing this devotion out for the night, and look up the 27th Psalm. This is comes from Psalm 27, beginning in verse 4. But you look at that and see the hope that is in his prayer. Psalm 27. Now this is St. Louis Jesuits with Tom Mannion, and it's called This Alone. Let me just share the words of this with you. One thing I ask, this alone I seek, to dwell in the house of the Lord all my days. For one day within your temple heals every day alone. O Lord, bring me to your dwelling. Hear, O Lord, the sound of my calling. Hear, O Lord, and show me your way. The Lord is my light and hope of salvation. The Lord is my refuge. Whom should I fear? I hope that's your prayer as well. Have a great and blessed week.